Hi, everybody, and welcome to Band-Aid Tree Media. You're watching an episode of Scuttlebutt with me, Pearl, and my sister, Cleo. In Scuttlebutt, we talk about politics, current events, and interesting people in the news. So, with that out of the way, we're just going to get going. Cleo, what do you want to say?
Well, there's been some stuff that's been going on with assassination attempts of our president and his cabinet, basically his administration, and it's pretty serious. And I want to say from the get-go that we do not support anything that has to do with violence, shooting people. Um, you know, this is just horrible. I can't believe this has happened three times to him. And fortunately, this guy didn't get very far with it. He was uh, subdued or something and arrested. And he came with a manifesto about why he was doing this. And I just want to say to anybody out there, if you're thinking about doing something like this, think again because all you're doing is just you're ruining your own life.
Mm.
If you shoot the president, it's not going to change anything. The president is, they've got a whole bunch of people that works with the president. You can't. It's just stupid to do such a thing because you're going to waste your own life, and nobody's going to remember you. Nobody cares that you did that. They're just. I mean, they care, but I'm just saying that the people that are out there that think that this is a way to solve a problem are absolutely wrong. It's no way to solve a problem. So, if you know somebody that's just a little unhinged that thinks, I understand the frustration, but let's solve this peacefully and let's stay united as a people in the first place. This is about we the people. And by committing this kind of act of violence is just unconscionable. We just don't want to see it, and we feel very badly, and we're very grateful that everybody is okay. Nobody really got too hurt. I'm sure they're pretty shook up, but nobody got shot, and the perpetrator he's in jail, and so but it was a scary moment, a scary time. So,
Mhm.
but a low bunch of things came up out of this attempt on the president's life that I just found kind of strange. For one thing, Marjorie Taylor Greene had brought up the fact that the manifesto was immediately brought out to the public, and she thought that was really unusual because she said that let's see, I have written down exactly what she said. She said, most shooters' manifestos remain classified so they don't inspire more would be shooters. Why did they release this manifesto almost immediately? Good
Mhm.
question. I mean,
Mhm.
they should have kept it out of the thing. But some of the things that he said were, well, it was a horrible thing that he had said. Um, Let me see. Excuse me, it's taking a minute because he said a bunch of things.
Well, he was 31 years old. And he was a tutor and a computer, what was he, a amateur video game developer. And in a message sent to family members minutes before the attack, the 31-year-old described himself as friendly federal A word, not asshole, the other A word. So he had tumbled over the rabbit hole edge. I mean, he was way, way into something that made him believe that his actions were going to be taken seriously and meaningful. So, what did you find, Cleo?
I finally found what I was looking for. He said
Hmm.
in his manifesto, I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Eliminating that person doesn't change what's going on. It doesn't help anything. As a matter of fact, uh, I want Trump to be around. I want him to eventually tell us what he was thinking, why he was doing what he was doing. I mean, these wars and these tariffs and the whole thing is just so. I get why somebody would be crazy enough to do something like this, but I wish everybody would just tamp it down, hold on, get a grip. Um, you can't change something by doing an act of violence, by
No,
shooting somebody. And
no.
again, I am just so grateful that nobody was hurt,
Hmm.
and that that we're just going to continue on. But there was some things that came out of this that just odd. The one thing that some people were saying, uh, I think it was Fetterman or somebody that said, "Well, it's a good that now that this has happened, the the ballroom is absolutely necessary. The $400 million
Oh
ballroom
God.
that's
Oh,
absolutely necessary, and that it's a no, that it's kind of set in stone that this will be built, because if they would have been in this new ballroom, this wouldn't have happened." Well, I guess not. I guess it's gonna, it's supposed to be a very secure facility, and but I'm thinking, why would you take this kind of thing and add, like, okay, this is a good reason of why we need the ballroom? I don't get that.
it
Um,
just really minimizes the moment. This was a horrible moment, and this was a moment of potential supreme danger for not just the president, but everybody around him and everybody in that room. So, minimizing it like that, I think, is a severe disservice to, and also, I don't think anybody would say, "Oh, I really want to see that assassin succeed." Nobody's saying that. Nobody wants that. I think people who disagree with Trump, who have severe disagreements with him, like me, want to see him uh, be brought to justice. I want to see him stand for his crimes. I would be happy if he just stood for a couple of those felony crimes, like
right.
if he just had to face just even a few of them, that would be good. But I mean, his crimes are almost innumerable.
And but he doesn't accept
Acknowledge him.
responsibility.
No,
Accept
no.
responsibility for any of them. He did an interview on 60 Minutes with correspondent Nora O'Donnell,
Mm-hmm.
and she read a paragraph out of the manifesto, and Trump went absolutely crazy. He said that she was a horrible person, and that the 60 Minutes group, they're horrible people in general, for them to say that. And I it what she said was the gunman's words were referring to the president, not it wasn't her words. He had called
Right.
him a rapist, and he said, "I'm not a rapist, and I didn't rape anybody." And then she said, "Well, he identified himself." She said that Trump identified himself in the gunman's words, and so she said, "Oh, you think he was referring to you?" And so, and he was like,
Oh
he
man.
said, he said, "I'm not a pedophile. I got associated with stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated." When and how and by who was he exonerated?
I think I missed that episode of The Apprentice.
Well,
I never saw that.
and all I could think about is, wait, there was a girl that said when she was 13 years old, she had been raped by him.
Mm-hmm.
But I know they're just trying to shove this stuff under the rug. I don't know if I believe that or not. I don't know any, the background or anything about that. It's just something that was said. But, as far as him being exonerated, no, he comes up at least 3,500 times in the Epstein files.
Oh, and some people are saying much, much more than that.
Right, right,
In
much, much more.
closer to 1,000,000 times or something,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and
It's
so it's somewhere in between 3,500 and 1,000,000. Somewhere in there.
I think 3,500 is enough. I
I
mean,
yeah, I
you know
agree, I
that's
agree.
quite a few times to be brought up for somebody that had nothing to do with it. It was there's no connection between him and Epstein. You know, it's crazy making. So anyway,
Yeah.
um, so he instead he just starts attacking her and the
Well, that's
60
what he does.
minute
Yeah,
and the network. You
yeah.
know, he
I
said
couldn't
that
believe that he actually sat down with someone from CNN, because he seems to hate them so much. I mean, he's moved on from the New York Times to CNN as the big bad boy. I mean, that it's I
well
couldn't believe he even sat down with her.
he called her well she 60 minutes is 60 minutes and CNN and one
Oh,
of the
wait.
same.
Oh, wait. No, maybe
No,
it's not CNN. Hang on. Where does it's just 60 minutes like CBS or something? I'll find out.
right, right. And it said,
Okay.
Trump said, you shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace.
Oh, CBS. CBS.
Yeah, but you go, and then after he said she's a disgrace and that should be ashamed of herself, he said, but go ahead and let's finish the interview. I'm like, okay. And I know maybe he's still a little bit in shock too, but, and a whole bunch of other things happened during this time. Like, they wondered why the Secret Service took Vance off the stage before Trump. And I didn't get a chance to read that article. I don't know what it said about that, but I do know that I thought it was just, I love Representative Jamie Raskin. Uh,
Hmm.
he's got nothing to do with my end of the world over in Washington State, but yeah, he comes up with some stuff that really hits the nail on the head. And so anyway, I think he's a great person. And so he was a hero that day, and he shielded Carrie Kennedy, who is RFK Jr.'s sister. And if you'll remember, RFK Jr., his dad was also assassinated. So I
Right.
didn't, who knows? I don't know if everybody was putting two and two together or whatever, but he shielded Kerry Kennedy, and then RFK Jr. was whisked away by the Secret Service.
Leaving his
So,
wife in his wake because his wife was a good 30 feet behind him and just going, "Where are you going?"
oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
there was a
I,
picture of it.
I didn't know that. But,
Yeah.
so, a lot of things were going on, a lot of things were happening, and it just, the things that, why one connects to it's crazy making stuff to take stuff like the ballroom and bring that up, how important the ballroom is at this point, or how somebody should be ashamed of themselves for asking a question that somebody else wrote in a manifesto. I mean, it's just beyond me. So anyway, that's what happened with that, and we just want to say we're totally grateful that nobody was hurt and that the person was arrested immediately, and now he will
Mhm.
be put on trial, and that should be a good thing.
Yeah, but
So,
honestly, how the hell did that guy even get in there? I mean,
well, if you saw that video, I mean, he just went running right past these
yeah,
guys.
but the story is that he had checked into the hotel a few days before, and he was armed to the teeth and apparently carrying not only firearms but knives. And he had to get those things into the hotel. Now, I know hotels don't do like a pat down when you check in, but somebody had to have seen those things. Somebody had to.
Well, they may not have seen them, but when you're checking into a hotel, especially one that's going to have all the Republicans meeting
Yeah.
together for the correspondence thing.
Yes.
Now you would think that somebody would be paying more attention to that, but
Yeah.
I don't know. The president thought that the Secret Service did a wonderful job and, subdued the guy right away. He didn't, he did fire off some shots, but he didn't. I don't think he made it right into the area, the ballroom of the hotel. So, so that was good.
Yeah, and I think that there were other stories that there were tips. People did I think that somebody in the guy's family, I think, contacted like the FBI or something and said, "Hey, this guy's been saying he wants to do this stuff." And somebody else tipped him off that he had been in the hotel for a few days and this was his plan. I mean, they were tipped off and they did nothing. So it just leaves a lot of questions. Why did they do nothing? Is it even true that things they were tipped off? I think that this guy did not go around hiding his feelings and what he wanted to do. He said to his family, "I am the what did he call himself? The friendly federal A
Oh
word,
yeah, I can't
right?"
remember. Yeah, yeah, he did say
So
something like that.
so, I mean, he himself was not hiding his intentions and what he was gonna do, and apparently he thought in his mind that he could just check into the hotel, make his way down to the lobby, and run across the lobby and go into the room and start shooting. I mean, it's a very childish fantasy that he would be able to do that. "I'm gonna bust through and I'm gonna shoot all the" I mean, it's just really childish. It's
Yeah,
not really thinking
well,
in reality. But
dangerous.
also and then there's stories, conflicting stories that the floor that he was on wasn't even the floor where the actual dinner was taking place. I mean, just there's so much conflict in the stories, but it'll come out later and we'll all listen to NPR at some point and get the real story and
Right.
we'll get it there. But in the meantime, this young man's life is ruined. He ruined it. He made the choice to ruin it. And Trump got a big fat story out of it and a big boost of support for the stupid ballroom. Okay.
Well, and in the long run, I really don't care. But I noticed that Melania Trump um, came up with just a bizarro thing. She's blaming Jimmy Kimmel
Oh yeah.
for blaming Jimmy Kimmel for his hatred and rhetoric that inspires people to do what this guy did at the hotel. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
bizarro. I don't think what he said was,
You want me to read it?
yeah, what did he say
Yeah,
again?
so he joked that Kimmel said that Melania was an expectant widow.
Yeah, and I don't find that funny, and I don't, I actually I watch Jimmy Kimmel Live all the time. I totally missed that. Um, I don't know how I missed it, but I'm not always. I'm kind of falling asleep as I'm watching it, but um, he says all the late night talk show hosts say a lot of things that are meant in jest. They're comedians. They're not. They're just comedians, and they're bringing up stuff that is happening in the news.
Well,
And
and
every
also Trump is a public figure. Anyone who is a public figure, and even when celebrities, sports names, even a commentator on a news show, when people reach a certain level, they become classified literally as public figures. You cannot be sued for talking about a public figure. You can't.
oh
That's why most of these lawsuits that Trump brings just fail because he's a public figure. So if somebody criticizes him, makes a joke about him, says he did some bad thing, he's especially a joke. He's a public figure.
well,
He
but what
he's
Trump did
open to
is
that.
what Trump did though is he just said he wants ABC to fire Kimmel right
Yeah,
away,
and they're not
take him
well,
off of there
the guy who owns CBS uh
for telling
is
a bad joke. I mean, it was
yeah,
a bad joke.
but the guy who owns CBS is quite the Trumpster. So
Well.
he may make that happen. I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
he may make that happen.
They tried before to,
And that really eliminates free speech when you do something like that.
yeah. Oh, wait, I'm
But, you
talking
know,
about CBS, the guy who owns, what is Kimmel on?
ABC, I
ABC.
think.
Okay. Uh, oh, shoot, I lost this. Kimmel, where did the Kimmel thing go?
Well, I have heard that there's a lot of Republican owners of networks, period.
Well, of media in general. That's
Okay.
why everybody's moving to platforms like YouTube, Substack, Reddit, what's the other thing? Threads and stuff. That's why people are moving to that because the legacy media doesn't seem to tell the truth. And they're all owned by very, very right-leaning people and organizations. They're owned by organizations, basically. Um,
Well, yeah, and it's constantly you got to remember that it's a fact, and everybody knows that Trump continually lies, and so these people put that out as though it's factual. So, but this thing about Jimmy Kimmel, and Stephen Colbert too. I mean, he's off the air at the middle or end of May, never to return. He took over the David Letterman show, and it's really was entertaining to watch the guy. I liked him,
mhm.
but this thing about making a joke, and so that was a bad joke. So basically, Kimmel will be if this happens, he gets fired for making a bad joke. Period. It doesn't matter that it was about Trump or anybody else. He just made a bad joke. They all do. They all they all make a lot of bad jokes. And speaking of bad jokes, I have a little joke for you.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Uh-oh. All right, here's how. I'll try to set this up. This is all over. This has been on the internet. This is not my joke. This is a joke that I saw on the internet that I thought was kind of funny. The president, the pope, and a young boy were on a plane together. The
Oh god,
president,
that's trouble. Ugh.
the president leans over towards the boy and says, "I'm the president, and I'm also the smartest man in America." Just then, the pilot comes out and says, "We're having a problem. The plane is going down, and I only have 3 parachutes. And I have a wife and a child on the way, and I'm sorry, but they need me." And he takes one of the parachutes and jumps out of the plane. The president grabs the second parachute and says, "I'm president. Obviously, I got to be around, so I got to go." And he jumps out of the plane. And the Pope looks at the little boy and says, "Son, you can take the parachute. We could share it, but we risk both perishing if we do that. This way you'll be okay. And rather than having, nobody survive, at least you'll survive." And the boy looks at the Pope and says, "We don't need to share the parachute. The smartest man in America just jumped out of the plane with my backpack."
I
Okay, maybe a bad joke. I don't know.
don't
I
think it's
liked
such a
it.
bad joke. It was pretty good.
I liked it.
And you stayed awake for the whole thing, so that's good. I think that's really good. Oh boy. All right, what else we got here?
Okay. Uh, let's see. Well, there are some other things going on legally. Oh, I know what it was. It was the thing in Virginia.
Mm-mm.
We all saw that Virginia has changed their redistricting in
Yeah,
that
they're
area.
voting districts. Mhm.
Their voting districts, yes.
Mhm.
Okay. But this morning I read that a judge had banned the new redistricting. If I can
Mhm.
speak, that would help.
It would help.
For Demo- for Democrats, asserting it is an unconstitutional and thereby should be withdrawn. I thought, oh wow, you're kidding me. I mean, this was the vote of the people and blah blah blah.
Mhm.
About 4 hours later, I read, no, another judge said, uh-uh. No, no, no. It's fine. It stays in place. So
Mhm.
apparently, it's still going to be the way it was, and it's going to be that they have a lot more Democrats in their districts, and that helps the vote. In the meantime, in another redistricting thing in Florida, is Governor DeSantis has said that he wants. I mean, Florida is already got a ton. I mean, the Republicans own the state, and very few Democratic seats are available. Well, DeSantis wants to turn that back to, I think, one or two, one or two. You know, and Florida's a big deal. It's Trump country. It's Mar-a-Lago,
Mhm.
and so he's working on that. And I don't know. More than likely that could happen. But just because that happens, that doesn't mean that a Republican in a certain district can't vote Democrat. Or at least that's the way it is in Washington state. I mean, just because you've decided you're a Republican or a Democrat, that doesn't mean you can't go to the other side. It's really who you think is the best candidate. And
Right, because
so
it's a secret. It's a secret who you vote for. Nobody can see that. Nobody can tell you what to do when you're in the ballot box.
but we know that Trump is doing everything imaginable to prevent he might wants to make sure the Republicans win.
Do you
And
know
yeah,
how much the Virginia redistricting is skewing the map? It's huge.
go ahead.
It's something like it was something like
6-6 to 5
6-5, and now
and
it's
that
going to be 10-1
10 to 1
in favor
exactly.
of Democrats. So, like,
Right.
oops, you guys really screwed up.
Well, and they also did the same kind of thing in California. And
Yes.
so the Republicans are really pissed off. They're thinking that what Trump was trying to do, because he kind of encouraged this redistricting thing back in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
that it backfired, which
Oh, yeah,
indeed it did. It
it
did.
did.
They didn't expect the Democrats to jump on board and go, "Hey, that's a great idea," and and they made it happen. The other thing I didn't quite understand about it is I'm not sure of this, but I think it's a temporary thing, uh, because I think it was a Gavin Newsom or
Yeah.
somebody was saying that, this is just, it's temporary for right now. I don't know, whatever that means.
Yeah, they can always move it back because usually the maps are redrawn after the decade consensus. So at every decade they do the consensus or the census of everybody in the country, and based on the population, that's how they're supposed to do the redistricting or the redrawing of the maps. But in the last 30, 40 years, those maps have increasingly been drawn by people who have a political agenda. And that a political agenda largely has favored the Democrats. And so they jerry rig the boundaries to make it, like if there's uh, populations of color, they make that, they split that vote out so that it can't be all just one area that's that population. And they just mess with it. They just mess with it. I don't know how they make it better for them, but they make it better for them.
Well, then, to add to that problem, Trump is totally on board to try to eliminate mail in voting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I've talked about this before, but mail in voting in Washington state is the most secure voting of just about everybody in the country, all the other states. We have a very, very secure voting system. We have been on mail in voting exclusively for at least the last 15 years. And
Mm-hmm.
in that period of time, there has come up with that they found a fraud or something, like maybe somebody trying to vote that wasn't even alive anymore or something like that. 16 times out of all the millions of votes that
Mm-hmm.
transpired over 15 years.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah,
That's and
it's
what a and
really,
what a testament to how secure it is. It's huge.
It's like point zero 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 zero
Mhm.
zero one.
Mhm.
Can't get much
Mhm.
better than that. It's
No,
not. Is it absolutely perfect? Just about. It's just about perfect.
just
So
about, yeah.
now what Trump wants to do is make the uh, this post office an election administrative agency with the power to determine who can vote by mail and establish ballot specifications. So he's saying that he's going to bring people in to train the people at the post office. They have to go by. They'll make a list of all the people that they think it's okay for these people to vote, even though we're all, we're all on the list and we've all registered to vote. And so they will make a list. This is how I understand it anyway. They'll make a list and they'll have the post office just, if they see anybody that comes through that they're flagged to remove, they'll remove that. So that person won't get to vote, probably won't even know that they didn't get to vote. Except in Washington State, we have a thing where you can go out on the internet and find out if your ballot was received. So maybe that would make a difference. But what he's doing is highly, highly illegal. So the Democrats are telling people to basically at this point ignore it because you can't do that. In order to change voting in any state, it's really up to the state.
Yes.
So this list of who the post service is supposed to figure out can vote or can't vote is just totally
Illegal.
illegal. Yeah, totally illegal. And so here's what it says that the Democratic senators have urged the United States Postal Service not to comply with the March 31st executive order, that the senators argue that efforts by the president to regulate elections at the federal level violates the Constitution.
Mhm.
Republicans claim that the order follows through on President Trump's promise to secure the elections. Also, Trump-backed executive order also would require proof of U.S. citizenship, and that's the other thing that came up recently. But for me, it was I saw it on Facebook where we have a representative, a Republican representative, claiming that if you sign his initiative, then you in the process of signing it. It proves something that you might be you prove that you're a citizen of the United States, when in fact already, if you're a registered voter, you've proved that. Um, they want you to. The Trump administration wants you to come up with um, identification and birth certificates, marriage licenses, um, state identification cards. I don't know exactly how that would work, but we already have that. But as far as proof of citizenship, it makes it so difficult that they're just hoping that a lot of people just give up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they were initially trying to say that your voter ID had to match the name on your birth certificate. Well, good luck, honey. Every kid that's ever been adopted and had their name changed, every kid that is a victim of divorce and then got adopted by the other parent, they're screwed. Any woman who got married and changed her name, I've changed my name 4 times, uh, screwed. You don't have that kind of documentation. So, and there are men that have changed their names too. It's not just women.
Right.
It's
Oh yeah.
predominantly women, but it's not just women. So,
But
I mean,
the whole
look at
idea.
JD Vance. JD Vance has changed his name several times, right? So, he would be screwed too.
So this thing about the list with the post office and all this new let's bring up proof of citizenship, it just is not going to work. The good news is it's not going to work before November. It's impossible for it to work because it has to go through all kinds of different steps, Unless Trump, I mean, he tends to do things where all of a sudden he instantly creates a new rule or a new law. And unless, if he did something like that, when we all know, well, that would definitely be part of the authoritarian country that he's trying to establish. But
Mhm.
for the most part, no, you cannot do that,
Mhm.
especially before the November elections. So, he's also trying to, I mean, he's trying to act like maybe he's not going to do it, but he wants to be reelected a third time. And so this
The
is
man should be hoping that he's still alive by November. Like I, he is a he's a walking corpse. I mean, he's just not.
be careful what you say now,
Yeah,
because
he's
it can be so easily misconstrued.
well, he's so. I mean, you see the pictures of his cankles, and you see the pictures of his hands, and you gotta wonder
Well,
how.
he's going to be 80 years old in June, I believe.
Yeah, he's gonna be 80.
So yeah, he's getting up there, and he's under a lot of pressure, and he is having trouble forming sentences and words and
Yeah,
thoughts, and he's
yeah.
they even recently had to remove him from the Situation Room, and they don't want him to be allowed to have access to the nuclear code
Yeah, so why don't they do the amendment thing?
because
You know,
as soon as you do that, you've got too many Republicans against not enough Democrats, and it's Democrats are the only one that would want to do that. I mean, this
I
is just
well, maybe. I don't I think
well,
there's a lot
they
of
are changed. There is some Republicans that are saying, "Whoa, wait a minute, this is getting a little bit too squirrely,"
yeah,
and maybe we should go ahead and try something else. Especially when he started the war with Iran. I mean, he
yeah.
is just not. This is a very unpopular war. People are just like, "What are you doing? This is just destroying our economy." And you want to put $1.5 trillion into the military? That is more than just wanting to help out in a war. I mean, it's crazy, crazy amount of money, and he's got something else in mind.
Yes, what he has in mind is a bank account in some, offshore country that won't keep a name on it, like an unmarked account or something.
Well, I don't know if he's just stealing the money. You know what? I've got a thing here about Trump and the corruption and the things he's done with money. It says the corruption lining Trump's pocket is astounding. He has pocketed upward to 4 billion from untraceable cryptocurrency ventures, suspicious market manipulations, and outright bribery from foreign and domestic sources during his 1 year back in office. So when this crypto thing, it's untraceable. And when they say that he has pocketed upward to $4 billion, that is because he is using his name as president to to create this. That is totally against the law. Nobody's
Mhm.
doing anything about it.
Mhm.
The market manipulation means when he comes out and says 150% tariff on China, and the next day the stock market tanks slightly, it's because of what he said about the tariffs.
Right.
So then he waits a day or two and says, "Oh, never mind. Uh,
But do you
I'm
know what happens when the market tanks? All his friends are happy. They all go, and when the prices are low, 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 they buy, buy, buy. And then they
exactly.
make a ton of money those next few days when it goes back up again. And
That's the
he does that with
manipulation.
Iran too, where he says, "Oh, ceasefire's on. Oh, the Strait of Hormuz is open. Nope, it's closed. Oh, it's open." And you'll notice he makes these pronouncements always on a Friday when the market's closed, and then around Monday, Tuesday, he makes his other pronouncements
Well, and
to
that's
boost it up.
that's called some sort of inside trading, which is totally illegal,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
So,
insider trading is if you have knowledge of a big sale or a big announcement being done by a certain traded company, and you know that information ahead of time, then you can sell or buy those stocks according to whatever will benefit you, however you'll profit. But this is just him making it easy for his friends to make money. It's just manipulating the market. It's theft. It's theft. It's fraud.
and insider trading. You don't think he's turning around and telling whoever? I mean, we heard way earlier or later. I mean, last year about Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, Trump
Yeah.
said, "Oh, hey, buy this because
Now,
it's gonna."
yep. Now
Yeah,
that
see,
was insider trading because they were artificially inflating some of those stocks by having big billionaires invest and pump a bunch of money into those stocks, and then they would buy or sell or do whatever they did to make money off of it when it went up. Right? So before all that money was put in, they'd buy when it was low, and then when the money went into that company, then the stock would go high and they would make money, and then they'd sell when it was very high. So it's a little that's insider trading. But when you're not what he's doing is he's not talking about an individual company. He's just making pronouncements that he knows the market will react to.
right.
And that's even worse, I think, than insider trading.
Well, and it's certainly not something you expect from a president. I can't think of one
No.
president that ever did something quite like this.
Nope.
Uh, and I get the feeling he just loves the power of being able to
Oh,
manipulate things that way.
he loves it. He just loves
And
it.
he loves making money, and he doesn't care who it hurts.
Mm-mm.
And I don't see anybody quickly writing a check to all the dozens and dozens of major big companies that are suing him for the illegal tariffs. The Supreme Court, you know,
Well, well, that ruling that the court handed down, they said the that Trump's government was going to have to pay back not the people who had to pay the high prices, they had to pay back the companies who paid the tariffs, the United States companies who paid the tariffs. Those people also made money. They just raised their prices and charged us for everything. We're the ones who should get that rebate, not
well, how that would happen, I don't know, but I do think that the companies need to be repaid because the tariffs were illegal. There is some tariffs. It's kind of a it's goofy. There's some tariffs that were okay that the Trump or that the court said, yeah, you can do that. There's other tariffs they said, no, you can't do that. So companies
Mhm,
like Costco and Walmart and
mhm.
I notice Amazon always tries to stay out of the whole thing. But I'm sure Amazon as well. Anybody that's importing stuff from anywhere in the country, or
Yeah,
in the
the
world,
prices
I
went
mean.
up, yeah.
So yes, no, they should pay back the companies. We'll just see how the companies react to that. More than likely, and I mean, the companies will probably start having great sales or they'll do something to help out because they do realize, everybody realizes that we are the ones that paid those tariffs in the long run. So, because the companies that were trying to get their money back, they had to raise the prices to compensate for the tariffs. I mean,
Well,
I
I think
just
that the only
I mean,
reason that some
they don't have to make any promises like that, but I just
no.
wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do something that would help us. Help us. I mean, we
You
are
know,
the ones
oh,
paying for it.
I think you're very Pollyanna. I really do not think that they give a shit about that. I think that they are going to look at it and try to figure out how many customers did we lose because of this? How many like Target? How many people are still boycotting Target? Amazon, how many people are boycotting things on Amazon? Walmart, I don't know if it's so much, but I'm sure they're being boycotted too. The big retailers like that are being boycotted. So that I'm sure they're looking at their bottom line and figuring out, how can we get some of these customers back? That's why they're going to give us big sales to
Okay.
get us back. But they're
Okay.
not they're not until they have something to put on sale. And until they get that tariff money back, I don't think it's really going to happen. I don't
Well,
I don't
it may not, but I just, as Pollyanna, I would say, I would say that
Okay, Polly, her new name.
I would say that I think that these companies they realize where their money comes from in the first place, and yeah, let's just wait and see how it pans out. This stuff's going to take forever. Let's see if the government really does pay back. I think it's like $175 billion that they would end up paying to these
Mhm.
companies, and how they're going to do it, and who decides how they, the whole thing. But I was particularly impressed that Costco was one of the first ones to say, no, we're suing. And as soon as it came out that the court were going to have to decide on something, they knew which way it was going to go. And then they
Mhm.
brought it up even more. And then
Mhm.
over time, dozens and dozens of other huge conglomerates have jumped on the bandwagon. And
Mhm.
now that this court has finally said, yes, this is not right. However, there's still a bunch of tariffs that are right, which I don't quite understand the fine line between no, you can't, and yes, you can. But one of those that I'm particularly concerned about is the tariff in Canada over steel. Because when you put a 50% tariff on steel, I mean, that just covers everything. That covers, well,
Every
just in
every big appliance, every
all your
car, all
cars.
your trucks, bicycles, even siding for your house, I think is plastic now, and gutters and stuff, all like that is very little of it is
No, but
metal.
big buildings, big,
Big buildings, that's
skyscrapers and
right.
stuff, that's all metal. It's all steel.
Structure for
So
highways, all steel.
and I know that the theory is, if we do this with Canada, then America is suddenly going to start producing steel again.
No, they're not.
Well, I don't know if they are or not, but please, this is not the way to do it.
No.
You don't just screw everybody over and then say, now let's start doing it in America. You instead work with America and tell them, we're going to work with you so that we can start not being so dependent on other countries.
Oh,
Uh,
gee, you mean like the way Joe Biden was doing it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean
Yeah, yeah.
exactly the way
And
Joe
you mean
Biden was
and
doing it.
and you mean like Trump just thinks if he just bullies everybody into doing what he wants that they'll do it? Yeah, that doesn't work. That
Well, you
bully thing.
can't build a company overnight. It takes a lot of
Tr
planning and a lot of
He
money
thinks you
to.
can. This is a television guy. I mean, he leaves one day and comes back and there's a new set for The Apprentice, so he believes in that shit. He thinks that that's how the world works. It's all like a big
Well, for
TV
him it
show.
does. For him it does. He's putting his name on everything. He's putting
God
his
help
name
us.
on every
God help
building,
us.
every airport, every federal building. Like the Kennedy Center thing. How ridiculous! The Kennedy Center is a memorial for John F. Kennedy. Um, it's got the Trump name on it. He's building a 250-foot tall arch which says Trump on it. And it's just like, what are you doing? He just wants to make sure he goes down in history as the greatest. I'll
Well,
be
he will
honest. I'll
he
be
will go
honest.
down he will go down in history as something that is great. The greatest clown.
Something like
The
that.
greatest criminal in American history, the greatest grifter,
The
the
greatest
greatest
con
the
man.
greatest con man. That's where he's going to go down as. But
Uh,
God, the things that he wants to name after himself is just crazy. There's
well,
some
and you see the Spirit Airlines thing that they were going under, and so Trump and the government is going to uh, fix that somehow, and they'll end up owning Spirit Airlines.
also illegal in this country.
And tell me it's only going to take a matter of days before you don't hear Spirit anymore. You'll hear Trump.
And he had an airlines and it already went under. You
Oh,
would
I
think
didn't
that he'd
know
learn.
that.
Yes, he had an airline, he had Trump Airline, he had Trump steaks, he had Trump vodka, he had a university, Kaplan University, that bought out a company that I was working for when I was living in New York. He tanked that. I mean, he just everything that he touches, he destroys. He's been bankrupt, totally bankrupt 6 times in his life, but he's come close to being bankrupt like 13 times, like double that. I mean, like the guy cannot run anything. He
Well,
does not know how to run.
he's running something in his favor if he has earned or acquired $4 billion in the last year as president.
It's all a grift. It's all a grift. He has done that through grifting, through bullying people, through stealing, through, I mean, look what he did with Venezuela. He basically stole all their oil, stole their government. I mean, and that's what he wants to do with Iran. He thought that he could steal them too, but oh, no, they fooled him. But he doesn't, he's a reality show TV at best bit actor. He's not even a good actor. This is what he believes now in his, what do you call it, his dotage, his elder years. He believes that that's reality. It's so sad. I honestly think that Trump is a victim of elder abuse, but that's a whole other show.
Well, this is elder abuse.
I do.
I don't know about that. But no, I mean, the things he is doing is right in line. We talked about this before of a Project 2025. Here's one thing I do want to say, though, that this is not a done deal. Uh, the four presidents came together on, what is her name? Jenna Bush's show, Jenna
Hmm.
Bush Hager.
Hmm.
And she had the four presidents on because of the 250-year anniversary. Now, this is really important. If you're really worried that we're going to end up being like Russia, and we're not, but it's going to take some time. I don't know exactly how it'll get corrected, but you've got too many people in this country, and you've got an established base of democracy for 250 years. There's no way, there's just no way that one person, well, it's not one person, it's one party. The Republican Party wants to turn this around to an authoritarian government to where the divide is not among party members, but among financial thing. The poor get poorer, the rich get richer, and
Hmm.
there's the great divide. And when I say the poor, I'm talking about people that might be making 250,000 a
Yeah.
year.
Well, I'm toast if it goes. I mean, I'm.
Right. I mean, it's you used to think, well, God, they're not, they're rich, right? 250,000 a year. No, not rich enough. You have to be a multimillionaire, or better yet, be a billionaire, in order to be part of the oligarchy for America, for Trump's America.
Hmm.
So, but I just don't believe that that's going to happen. And when those presidents came on, they even said, we know that things are looking bad right now, but it will get better. It will get better. So it lets me know that they got something going on. They got communication amongst themselves, and probably other people like military people and stuff. And that's another thing. He should have never had Hedgeseth, or whatever his name is,
Hmm.
fire all these generals and important, admirals, generals. I don't know what they were, but they were very important. They've been working their jobs for years,
Hmm.
and he just went in and just said, "You're out." That really, people stood up and went, "Wait a minute, what are you doing?" It's creating a military that is Trump's military, that goes just by how he wants them to do things. This is it's getting weirder and weirder, and you can bet the weirder it gets, the closer we're getting to people that are in the know, people that don't agree with this, people that love this country and love democracy and are not going to allow this to happen. But it's going to take It's going to take some time and some effort, and it's going to take a lot of patience on everybody else's part because while they're talking about big numbers, we're talking about keeping a roof over our head or
Yeah.
being fed,
Mhm.
being able to afford groceries. Um, it's just it's just something you have to be patient with, and that's why I'm saying if there's anybody out there that's feeling so much pressure and so unhinged that they want to do something drastic, chaotic, crazy, uh, and they're willing to lose their own freedom because they will either be dead or in prison. Let somebody know. I mean, let somebody help this person
Yeah.
out because it's just, you know, it's not an answer. And I know that for some people, they don't care. They've had enough. And so, just like this guy that tried to do it. And what did he really try to do? I don't it's almost like he was just testing the Secret Service, testing the whole system. Um, he didn't shoot anybody. He shot into
No,
the building.
they're saying actually that he didn't shoot at all, that all the shots fired came from the Secret Service and the
Oh,
FBI.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That's what all the shots were. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he came in guns a blazing and just
No,
made this
no,
big ruckus.
he was still rushing the door trying to get through things. So I don't even know that he had anything that his gun even went off.
Oh,
Crazy, right? Crazy.
okay, but we do know what his intentions were. And
Yes.
we know that there's other people that feel the same way. And I'm
Mhm.
just saying, if you got a neighbor, a friend, a relative, somebody that is
Somebody's
just
kid.
somebody just unhinged,
Mhm.
uh, you're doing them a favor by either getting hold of the police or getting hold of somebody to try to do something about it because
Mhm.
this has been three attempts on Trump's life supposedly, and I'm just like, one of these times somebody's going to be successful.
Mhm.
So, and we just don't want that. We don't
No.
want that. That's
No.
not the way to solve any problems.
And I just want to say about the generals who got let go. I'm wondering if they went to Trader Joe's because they're always hiring.
Oh God, what the
They
hell?
got to put a roof over their head. They got families and whatnot. You know, they might need a job. You know, I looked up an article. There's a guy who's keeping a list of all the things that Trump wants to name himself after. And can I just read a few of them for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we know the John F. Kennedy Center, he wants that to be the he did name it the Donald J. Trump and the John F. Kennedy Memorial Center. Uh, oh God. Uh, Trump RX. Have you heard of that? That's
Well,
his,
isn't he gonna make some drug? He's gonna
yeah,
be a drugstore.
yeah. Florida renamed the Palm Beach airport after Trump.
Yes.
Trump links funding to name on Penn Station. So funding needed for Penn Station in New York City, they have to rename it Trump Station. Uh, the U.S. Institute of Peace, he wants to rename that to I don't know. He wants his name on the headquarters of the U.S. Institute of Peace. He wants to create a Trump class of battleships. The first ship in the future line will be called the USS Defiant.
Yeah. Again, I'm.
What? There's more. There's more. Trump accounts. You remember this? That he's going to start these accounts for kids. They're not for
Yeah.
kids. Those kids are never going to see that money. I think it's just a way to hide money or something. It's not. This is. Not, he's not doing anything nice.
Doesn't he want to have his name on all our dollar bills, all our paper
Yes, he
money?
wants to have his name, or he wants to have his picture and his name on money. He really wants that. National park passes. The design for national park passes. He unveiled a new design for the passes featuring Trump's face and George Washington's face, while another shows Trump saluting. Or is it a Zeke Heil? I don't know. And that we'll find out. We'll find out. There's the Palm Beach, and let's see. I think, yeah. So, and just so you all know, the Trump's Kennedy Center, it had to close because I guess they had either, I don't know, something wrong with the building or something. So his big center had this big, supposed big event that was just an utter failure because all of the acts backed out. And then they abruptly closed the center. So supposedly it's for repairs, but we don't know. So, I mean, they're just, he's just got a million crazy things going on.
He does, and he wants his name on everything to, I don't know, for so that when we look back on history and we go, look what this man did for us. That's the other thing. Look at what he has done for us.
It's been
He
pretty
has cost us
diabolical.
he's cost us a lot of money. He's made it so that other countries are questioning what is wrong with the United States.
Hmm.
People want to just steer clear of us. Other countries just want to steer clear of us.
Yeah, he
Uh,
caused over a million people to die from COVID-19.
well, that too. And then, this thing with Iran, nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying that Iran has been a nuclear threat to anybody yet.
Yeah.
The weird thing about that is if they do become a nuclear threat, it'll be because of Trump.
Yeah,
Because
it
Trump
will.
put them in such a space that they're just like, oh, yeah, we're going to protect ourselves. And if we have to send a nuclear bomb over to the United States, they'll be prepared to do that. They probably
Yeah.
never occurred to them before to ever want to do that. I
Well,
think
no,
there's,
the Ayatollah that they killed, that first strike where they killed that Ayatollah, the head, he did not believe that it was okay with God to have a nuclear warhead. So he would never do that. As he put it, he has a fatwa on nuclear bombs. Fatwa means he wants them destroyed. He doesn't want them to exist. The
wow, I did not
new
know that.
Yeah. His son who came in, and I don't even know if the son is still the Ayatollah, but he's a little more okay with it. So things might be changing there. But in general, the country was not trying to build a nuclear warhead. What they were trying to do was create nuclear energy for their country because they need a lot of energy because a lot of their country is very mountainous and very desert like, and it's really hard to grow things there. So there's not a lot of water and stuff like that. So they wanted to provide for their people, right? They wanted to fuel desalination plants so that people could have water and stuff like that. And but now they're saying that some of the people in charge are a little more gung ho for the whole nuclear thing. But who knows? It's so hard to tell. The media is so twisted. You can't even believe what they're saying. So you know,
Wow. Well, we have gone up over an hour and 3 minutes for this video when we were kind of planning on 45 minutes, but it got
yeah, they
carried
were.
away with what was going on. So we're going to end it here, but we try to be on once a week right now because we're new. We don't, as soon as once we get more established, we'll probably be on at least twice a week. But for right now, we're on once a week. It usually comes on Mondays, but instead this one will be on a Tuesday. And if you've stuck with this throughout this video, please like and subscribe to our channel, and the information is right there. And we'll also have more information in the description below this video. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll be back, and any questions you have or anything you want us to talk about or look into, please put it in the comments section below the video. So thank you. See y'all later.
Bye. Thank you for watching.